Today on Live Daily News, San Angelo remembered 9/11 this morning, an Abilene resident won $1 million in the lottery, and Murdoch's ranch and home supply is coming to San Angelo. I'm James Bellini, and this is Live. We'll get to the news in a minute, but first, the ArcLight Bar and Grill is having Fight Night. This Saturday, you can catch the fight between Canelo Alvarez when he puts his world titles on the line against Edgar Berlanga. This Saturday, starting at 7 p.m. Watch the match on the largest video wall in San Angelo with 13 other flat screens at the ArcLight Bar and Grill, located inside the Clarion Hotel, located at 441 Rio Concho Drive in San Angelo. Starting things off this morning at the 9/11 Memorial, San Angelo commemorated the 23rd anniversary of the 9/11 terror attacks when two planes were crashed into the Twin Towers in New York City. San Angelo Police and Fire Department hosted the event, and Police Chief Travis Griffith said, 23 years ago, the course of this country changed. The resolve of this great country was put to the test, and through pain, fear, and suffering, we came together and we overcame it, and we felt how fragile life, safety, and freedom can be. 477 first responders and military members lost their lives, and Griffith commented on that by saying, "We owe it to these selfless individuals to continue to serve with honor and integrity." San Angelo's 9/11 Memorial is one of few in Texas that actually features a piece of steel from the World Trade Center. One individual is $1 million richer today after winning the lottery on August 23rd. The person just claimed the money and elected to remain anonymous. It also announced that last night's $800 million lottery was also won by somebody in Sugar Land, Texas, just outside Houston. The estimated winnings on that lottery was just over $400 million. And it was the Mega Millions' 7th largest jackpot in history and the 2nd largest of 2024. Have you downloaded the San Angelo Live mobile app yet? It's free and it's the best app in the business. Download it off the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store to stay up to date with news in San Angelo. Murdoch's Ranch and Home Supply is coming to San Angelo. While the permit in the inspection report is still pending, they have been receiving items and construction has begun, and the permit is just over $2 million that they have tied to it. Murdoch's Ranch and Home Supply sells clothing, firearms, trailer accessories, pet and outdoor supplies, and more. An opening date has yet to be announced. And to whether the heat cranks back up this weekend, so enjoy the next couple of days. It's actually the 4th hottest summer in San Angelo. But right now it's 87 degrees outside with a high of 89 and a low tonight of 62. Tomorrow will be mostly sunny with a high of 92, and then Thursday night will be clear with a low of 67. And then on Friday, the high will be right under 100 with 99, and then Friday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 74. Saturday, the high looks like it will break the 3-digit mark with 100, but Sunday, the high will be 98. Lows over the weekend will be in the low 70s. And when we come back, Angelo State's Jeff Girsch addresses the media about the Rams' loss to Emporia State, and Yukio Kuniyuki from the San Angelo Performing Arts Center is in studio. But first, a word from the Bass Bunch.
It's our giant tag sale.
Giant tags plus hell means one thing: giant tag hail sale prices. Right now, during our giant tag hail sale, you can get a brand new 2024 Ford Explorer XLT for just $32,977. But hurry, these are selling fast. Our giant tag hail sale at Jim Bass Cars and Trucks, Houston Hart at Arden Road, or shop 24/7 at bassbunch.com.
Yeah, we struggled on offense. Just getting things going. I think you go back and look at the game on film, and it's never as good or as bad as you think it is on things. We had opportunities. We played good at times on offense to get some things going, but I think the first downs hurt us a little bit. We were behind the sticks a little bit, and then obviously third down conversions were something offensively that we struggled at. I think we were 3 for 14 or something on third downs, and the problem, I think, is because of first down. First down, if you get behind the sticks, all of a sudden now you're 3rd and 7, 8, 9 instead of 3rd and 3. Staying on schedule there on first down is something we need to do a better job of. There's things that are positive in it. You see the potential with it and what we have, and the skill sets and that kind of stuff in the offensive line. But we got to play better, and there's no doubt on offense. I felt like, and you can ask any coach or any player the same thing, we didn't play up to our potential there on that side of it. I thought defensively we played well enough to win a game, but at the same time there was a lot of mistakes out there on defense as well. Fort Hays is a good football team. They're a good football team. they reminded me on film of watching them, they're like us. I mean, they got a lot of returners. I think they had 11 starters back on offense and 9 on defense. So we knew they were going to have good experience. End of the day, though, we just didn't play well enough to win a game, and that was unfortunate. But the team has great potential still, and continue to work, and it doesn't get any easier with Emporia State this weekend.
Is the quarterback situation still fluid?
Yeah, it is. We have a plan to go in and see, where we stand at that position. I mean, if you take a look at the numbers and where we're at, I mean, we were 17 of 24 throwing. That isn't a terrible day. It's just where we make decisions and what we do. At the end of the day, running the ball, throwing the ball, whatever you're going to do, if we don't do things right up front to start, it's something that I think a lot of pressure gets laid on, one position quite a bit in the quarterback room. Neither one of those guys, they both could have played better, but at the same time, and I'm saying the main two, right? Tyler came in and did a good job and stuff that we asked him to do, but the main two guys that got most of the reps, they get that quarterback label on it because maybe we didn't block something right, or maybe we didn't protect them the way we should have protected them on things, or dropping a football or doing things like that. So we're going to kind of just see how things go and progress at the quarterback position, but hopefully the surrounding support cast does a better job of what we're supposed to be doing to right the ship.
You mentioned that third down conversions for you guys is something that you definitely wanted to work on. When you look forward to Emporia State and what they do, specifically last week going 10 for 19 themselves on third down,
Yeah.
what do you think is going to be the primary focus on defense to prevent them from extending the drives that you guys have struggled to do on offense?
Well, I think biggest thing on defense for us to get them to cause them problems on third down is to get the quarterback out of his first read. Trying to get him to have to go to a second and third read on different things. They're a good football team. Quarterback does a good job of just kind of getting the ball out quick. But if we can take away that first read of what he's looking at and make him go through a progression a little bit, I think the pressure that we can bring and that kind of things with our front four and the D line, can cause some problems. So that's the biggest thing, getting him off of his first read, throwing the ball. Running the ball, they're very capable. They got good running backs, but they seem to put the ball in the quarterback's hand quite a bit, to have him make decisions with it and get the ball out quick. So our goal is to get him off that first read and take that away and make him work through a progression here a little bit and see if we can't cause some problems with him with pressure.
Again, to kind of go back on what you mentioned about the third down conversions, you guys kind of finished with the same time of possession, only
Yeah.
3 less first downs. Would you say that closing out drives is pretty much just the primary focus on offense, or if you had to attest it to something else, what would that be?
I would attest it to closing out drives on both sides of the ball. We didn't get off the field on third down. I said we played well enough on defense to win games, but to win the game. But like, if you look at it, the first touchdown they had, if we have 2 guys bounce off the kid, if we tackle that ball, they're punting. That's a 50-some yard touchdown. They're punting. And then we have a play before the long pass to set up the other score on 3rd and 9 that we don't tackle a guy on for a 3-yard gain. And then that ends up turning into a touchdown drive. We would have had him punting on the 12-yard line. So we got to finish drives on defense too. That's something that we didn't do a very good job of. So that's the biggest thing. It's third downs on both sides of the ball. It really is. And for me, on the third down for our offense, first down has to be better. If first down's better, the playbook's a lot easier when it's 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, instead of 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 11 all the time. That's being behind the sticks is what really causes a lot of problems. But the defense doesn't get off on this too. I mean, they need to play better on the third down as well and get off the field.
Having 2 quarterbacks, does it stay as a quarterback room by committee, or do you make any changes with this scheme going forward to prevent anything from happening again?
I think it's still an evaluation. Both these guys are young players, out of it, especially, Caden's coming in, probably working through as the number 3 to start, with, before Chad, had to, is not getting the reps now because of injury. That's the biggest thing. So just, it's, he brings so much to the table in what he's done as an athlete with it. So, finding out, between those 2 guys, and then Tyler doing the things that he can do for us. Finding out those two guys and what they're about, and when the bullets are flying a little bit here, so to speak, and seeing. So I don't anticipate a big change in what we're doing with it, because both of them provide us different types of skill sets to win games, and when they're in there, we just got to function better. And I'll go back to it. It's not just the quarterbacks; it's the surrounding support staff. The receivers need to block on run plays, better. The O-line needs to block and pass protect better. The running backs need to do a good job running the ball when they have it, and they need to do a good job of picking up protection. And we just didn't do that. And I think sometimes it gets magnified at the quarterback position with it, when if you take a look at it in the big picture of things, I don't think we played well up front. I don't think we played well in the edge, blocking in that part of it. So those things, I think if we would have won that football game, and we had opportunities to do so, if we would have won that football game, we have a different feel about where we sit on things. But at the end of the day, it's still a really good football team we have here, and it's getting them ready to go.
Coach, I was going to ask just how you feel coming back from the loss. How does it affect your goals this season, and what you're hoping to accomplish?
Yeah, it's funny because it's a great question. It really, at the end of the day, you want to win them all, right? You get 11 weeks out of the year to play a game in college football. You get 11 weeks, and you want to win them all. But it doesn't affect us in the sense of we can still win a Lone Star Conference championship. We can still do things. And again, I want to reiterate, we played a really good football team Saturday. They were a very good football team, but so were we, and we just made too many mistakes. So, it affects us in the sense of the understanding of the urgency, the importance of urgency each and every day in practice. I just got done meeting with my group, and I told them, you go 365 days out of the year preparing for 11 weeks, and that's what you get. So right now the urgency has to be high, and understanding, not panic, right, but urgency has to be high to go out and execute. You got to practice better. You got to find any way you can do what you can do individually to be a better football player, to make your team better. So that's something that we'll continue to do. But we still have all of our goals in reach to go out and win a conference championship, to compete at a high level. But we have to play better, and we have to get better every single week moving forward. And I anticipate we'll do that.
What were some of the positive things you took away from?
I thought our kids played hard. We made a lot of mistakes, but I thought we played hard. I thought Cade Fuller did an outstanding job at the punter position. He punted. I think he had a 47-yard average. We had one protection issue with him in the punt game, but we got it fixed pretty quick. And I thought he did an outstanding job. I thought all of our special teams did. We dropped a couple kickoffs. One of them didn't hurt us too bad because it was in the end zone, so we were taking that knee anyways. But just things like that. We got to continue to get better. But we were good on special teams. I thought at the defensive back position, Jatavian Neal, one of our corners, had an outstanding football game in his first career start. He's been in the program a long time, but I think it's his first career start. He's played a lot of football, and same thing with Xavier Walton. Was a redshirt sophomore for us. First start at free safety. I think he had 11 tackles and played really good football. So there's a lot of positives. There really was on things. It's just the one that was the negative was the scoreboard at the end.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Yep.
It's hard to believe how reckless some people can be and how hard they fight against real victims. You need a partner who consistently beats the Giants and who will never, ever flinch.
Well, hello. Welcome back to the show. I'm Joe Hyde, publisher of San Angelo Live. I'm with Yukio Kuniyuki. Did I say all that right?
You did.
Sort of, kind of.
Almost. Yeah, Kuniyuki is the best way to sing it.
You're singing it? Kuniyuki?
There you go.
You want me to sing? I already sang on this show once, and we lost audience.
Well, maybe they'll come back because they realize that you've got real talents.
But anyway, Yukio runs the San Angelo Performing Arts Center. If you're not familiar with what that is, in a nutshell, he runs all the venues over there by City Hall. You have the Murphy Performance Hall right behind City Hall, and then you have, I guess, 3 theaters. You have the old Coca-Cola building.
The Murphy is inside City Hall. It's the old Civic Auditorium that was renovated in 2017. And then the Coca-Cola building is the Stevens Performing Arts Center, which includes the Brooks and Bates Theater and the Black Box Theater.
All right, so 3 total theaters.
Yes.
All right. And you have, as part of that, you not only rent it out to promoters and stuff, bringing in Tanya Tucker and whoever else, but you also have some shows that you put on yourself.
We do.
And you also have shows from like the San Angelo Broadway Academy and Ballet San Angelo and things like that.
We like to think of ourselves as the home for local performing arts. Everyone performs in our spaces, and we really manage the Murphy Performance Hall. That still belongs to the city, but we do all the production, the tech, and we have all
You have to clean it up. You have to sweep it.
We have to clean it up. That's where the facility maintenance fee goes.
I got you.
To help make sure that our equipment stays up to date, operational, and that we maintain the best facilities in town.
Well, in light of our San Angelo Live's continued support of the arts in San Angelo, because it makes it a nicer, more friendlier city.
It improves the quality of life for everybody, I think, and it helps.
And attracts more doctors for Shannon.
More doctors for Shannon, but it also is an element for economic development. If you want people to come to San Angelo, you need a rich cultural arts community that's vibrant. And
So your kids can get involved in it. The other thing is we have Angelo State University, which has the music programs. We have our San Angelo ISD music programs, which are very, very robust, I think.
Yes. Well, I think across the board we have great arts nonprofits. We have Angelo State's with its fine arts programs, and then SAISD, not including other regional Contra Valley schools.
Right. We can't leave out like TLCA and the fighting Cristoval Cougar Band, because that way James Bellini over here will get mad at me if I don't mention. But there is a lot of music in that. And the thing about music is it brings people together.
It does.
And actually the arts.
It does.
Whether it's the performing arts or drama or what have you, it brings people together. And so it's good to have support mechanisms in a community. It's like a glue that holds everything together.
It's a glue, but also, a lot of the people in the performing arts have gone on to do great things at the national level too.
Yeah, so we can create some Hollywood stars.
We can create some Hollywood stars and some dancers on Broadway.
Or the first chair trombonist of the Cleveland Symphony Orchestra or something like that.
Yes.
Yes, I got you. So this arts, I guess the arts infrastructure of San Angelo went through some changes, and we had the San Angelo Cultural Affairs Council said.
Well, it closed down this year.
They closed down this year. So what did they do that SAPAC doesn't do? What did they do that, let's say, the San Angelo Museum of Fine Arts didn't do? What was the purpose of that organization?
Well, the way they fit into the landscape of the arts was they were the main recipient of hot funds from the city.
Hot funds is hotel occupancy tax revenue.
Yes, and that could be distributed to local arts organizations and other projects. They had 2 types of grants that were available in the August timeframe and paid out by December. So they were a big supporter of the arts.
So they would, for example, if the San Angelo Broadway Academy had a special show, they had to pay money for the scripts or something like that. Well, they could give them a grant to produce that show.
Well, they had 4 core support grants to support operating costs. So those were Angelo Civic Theater, San Angelo Broadway Academy, and the ballet and the symphony.
So without that money, what's going to happen? Is the hot money going to go directly to those organizations?
I think the city is now managing the hot funds directly. But I'm not sure how they're managing the project grants that used to be supported by SACAC.
Gotcha. And they call it, everything has SACAC, COSA DC.
Yes. There's always
SAPAC,
SABA.
So most people can get really confused. Even me, especially Aggies, can get confused.
I don't know. I think you're a pretty smart man.
So what do you have coming up at SAPAC, which is the San Angelo Performing Arts Center, that we need to know about?
We got some great shows coming up. This weekend, we have the Darren Morrison Band. They're a local band. They'll be performing a concert, and it's going to be great music. They'll have John Talley, Billy Dan Langley, and Darren Morrison, and a couple other folks playing this weekend. It's going to be a great local band performance. Then next weekend.
Wait, 2 stories on that. Darren Morrison is the son of former Mayor Dwayne Morrison.
Yes, he is.
The guy with the hat with the rattlesnake on it.
He is.
And the interesting thing about Darren is, in his younger days, he was a wild man, kind of like his dad. And he wrote a song. He wrote a song called "Blame It on Blaine's."
I don't know anything about that.
You don't know
I am a transplant to San Angelo.
Well, I'm teaching you.
Okay.
Yukio, I'm teaching you. That's why, I mean, that right there kind of sealed his fate as his music and his art being part of the fabric of San Angelo when he wrote that song, Blame It on Blaine's.
Interesting.
And so it's about, if you're not from San Angelo, Blaine's is like the first bar that came in the downtown revitalization. In fact, it was the reason, I think, downtown was revitalized. In addition to all the stuff happening on One Concho with the Gunners and with Pfluger. But yeah, it was the Blame It on Blaine's.
Interesting. I learn something new every day in San Angelo.
He also has he lives in Cristobal. He has a stage in his backyard.
He does. They have
with
a
sponsors.
concert.
With sponsors. He has sponsors on the stage in his backyard in Cristobal.
That's pretty special.
Yeah, that is special.
Yeah. And then so next weekend, on the 14th, we have a comedy hypnotist coming in, Boris Cherniak. He's a world-renowned hypnotist, and his main focus is to help people see how they can use hypnotism to overcome mental blocks in a fun way for the family.
How does that tie in with the culture wars?
It doesn't.
So it's just going to be some fun hypnotizing.
Yes, it's fun.
So if you don't want to be hypnotized, sit in the back.
It's something new. I don't think we've had hypnotism in San Angelo yet, at least at SAPAC. And then after that, on the 21st, we have the 20th anniversary of the West Texas Jazz Orchestra.
Okay.
And they've been playing here for 20 years.
And that's a bunch of old head jazz musicians because they're part of the fabric of San Angelo and the arts, and they've been playing together for years and years. And they also played our 3rd of July concert every year, or most of them.
Most of them do, yeah. I think one of
they change out. The people change out.
Yeah, it's made up of regional band directors, Angelo State instructors, and a lot of excellent jazz musicians.
And they're really good. And
they're excellent.
They can play Birdland. That's the most important jazz song. That's kind of like yelling "Free Bird," Birdland for jazz guys.
The cool thing is they play all the original arrangements of the big band classics. And then on the 15th, we have a concert in coordination with the San Angelo Museum of Fine Arts. They're bringing in Joshua Diaz to sing opera, and they'll have mariachi accompaniment as well as Hunter Mabry on piano.
And now Josh Diaz, his family owned a Mexican food restaurant on the east side of town, and they would always sing Christmas carols when you went there to eat. It was a buffet.
Okay.
And they would come out and they would sing Christmas carols, but he's a very talented tenor.
He's an excellent tenor. This is his 2nd time performing with the museum at
Have you seen him before?
I have.
Have you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is an example of someone from San Angelo who took advantage of a lot of the arts opportunities and went off and did it professionally.
Yeah,
so,
he's excellent. Yeah, and it's a free performance sponsored by the museum, so,
all right, so
everyone come out for that one.
Is there anything else coming on?
Oh, we have a lot more coming up in October and November. The best way to stay tuned is like us on Facebook, Instagram, and check out website out at sanangelopac.org.
That's also the Papa Alpha Charlie.
Papa Alpha Charlie, and it is the place to get tickets and not get scalped.
Why would I want to buy tickets from San Angelo PAC? And if I could just Google Josh Diaz, I have tickets. I Google Darren Morrison tickets, and it comes up and says, the #1 research result says, get tickets here, and I click on it. Why doesn't that work?
You always get charged more expensive fees if you go through a third party.
So what does a third party do? They basically don't really call you or anything until they sell a ticket.
So what happens a lot of times is third party websites will buy tickets and resell those tickets on their website.
So they're scalpers.
They're scalpers, and you will always pay more. I think somebody said that Ballet San Angelo's Nutcracker tickets last year were selling for $100 to $200.
People were scalping those tickets?
They were on those third-party websites.
And how much were they paying?
$100 they were advertised at over $100 when the tickets are actually less, about $30 a ticket.
So a $30 ticket was going for over $100 with the scalpers for Ballet San Angelo. That's our kids, right?
But still, Ballet San Angelo's excellent Nutcrackers. It's a great show every year.
But what I'm saying is they're scalping shows put on by the community's children.
Yes.
That doesn't sound right.
No.
That doesn't sound right at all.
Some scalpers sold tickets to Saba's Phantom of the Opera for a couple $100 too.
Really?
They did.
So basically, the keynote here is to go to San Angelo Papa Alpha Charlie, that's sanangelopac.org,
Yes.
to buy your tickets.
Or come in person, because you save 10% on our internet fee if you come in person and buy tickets at a box office.
If you buy in cash, you save even more?
Yeah.
Really? So pay cash at the box office.
Yeah.
When's the box office? Is it open daily?
Tuesday through Friday, 10 till 6, and before each show we have the box office open. So
How is San Angelo PAC doing? Are you guys surviving? Are you thriving? What are you looking at for over the next 12 months?
I think performing arts in general are struggling with ticket sales across the U.S.
Really?
You can see this in the news reports about concerts, for example. There's a lot of articles about how artists are combining their concerts with others to save money and to
You think it's because
decrease costs.
because the TVs are getting more larger and more immersive, and you have more immersive streaming things? You can just kind of pull up what you want at home. Because I would think that a home TV is probably your biggest competitor.
I think it's a combination of things. Definitely, I think people work really hard in the U.S. And when they get home, they would like to stay home, be with family.
Sit in the chair, big easy chair, kind of like Archie
Sit
Bunker.
exactly, and decompress at home. But in order to have a vibrant performing arts ecosystem, I like to call it ecosystem, people have to come out and support the local arts because we depend on ticket sales to cover a lot of the costs. And then we make up for the additional expenses that aren't covered by ticket costs with endowment funds, grant money, so on and so forth.
So a lot of people don't realize this, but even though the facilities, you mentioned the Murphy is part of City Hall, so effectively you built it as a taxpayer, but it still had to be renovated. It still had to. You probably have some long-term notes on that. You still have to clean it. You still have to sell. You have to pay for the payroll for people to, collect your tickets at the door and that kind of stuff. So you have expenses.
So I think what San Angelo did, we had some great visionaries when they renovated City Hall. Right now, SAPAC is really debt-free. There's no loans out for those renovations.
So it was 100% Elta Joyce Murphy donated the money, and whoever else. There was a lot of people donated money to this thing.
Yeah,
the Stevens did.
There were a lot of large donors that helped ensure that all the construction was complete. But on an annual basis, so we've worked on creating an endowment, and we're still working to build it up to where we need it to be.
For those at home, an endowment would be a large chunk of money that you can live off the interest.
Right. So we're working with the San Angelo Area Foundation to manage the endowment that we have in place, and we're about a third of the way where we need to be for that to cover all the additional costs, because we've seen almost 110% increase in insurance costs since 2019.
Everyone's seen an increase in insurance costs.
So those things aren't factored into the original fiscal analysis that they did in 2009 for SAPAC. So insurance costs, utility costs, and just upkeep of equipment and facilities, those are all costs that we incur every year. And we have to kind of budget out to determine when we're going to restain the wood paneling on the outside of the building, or we have emergencies that come up where we have to replace HVAC systems or
so even though it's part of City Hall, you might have to replace things there, do maintenance.
So a lot of the maintenance is covered by those facility maintenance fees that get added to the ticket price.
Gotcha.
Because that's the way we are able to, have the funds needed when something goes down. For example, a hot water heater or an HVAC system, then we have those funds available. Because otherwise, if we didn't do that, then it would be really difficult to forecast and anticipate those costs.
All right, as far as making money, give me kind of a breakup of how many people actually rent out the facilities and put on their own shows, whether they're a promoter bringing in an artist or it's an organization, versus how many shows does SAPAC itself produce?
So up until 2023, SAPAC was producing up to 20 shows, presenting those shows.
Out of how many? Out of about 50?
Out of about 40, I would say.
So about half the shows.
About half the shows. But in 2023 to 2024, we reduced the number of SAPAC shows that we present because there's a huge expense that you incur when you're presenting. You assume all the risk.
That is a problem. Like you know, I've done shows at the River Stage, and it got to the point where you're paying an artist, you know, $100,000 risk free. He gets that money whether it rains or shines, and you're the guy taking all the risk. Are we going to be able to sell enough tickets to cover this? Are we going to be able to get the sound and lights and everything you know, and be able to cover that also? You know, but what about the labor and the security? You have to hire a bunch of, you know, security cops or police, off-duty police officers. And so the business model just really stunk. That's what I thought.
It is, I would say, very difficult to be in the performing arts because, especially when you're presenting because of the risk. But that's kind of why we're going towards building the endowment up.
Right.
Because then
that way the endowment can absorb. Let's say you brought in a gigantic Broadway show that cost $200,000. It can absorb some of that cost.
Yes. And then so between the endowment and other fundraising sources such as grant writing or sponsorships, we can reduce the risk over time. But it is still really considerable.
And it's also hard when you're at one location. You know, even though you have 3 theaters, you know, like a promoter can go book 30 locations so he can spread his risk over 30 different concerts.
Right.
You can't do that.
And that's kind of why we moved towards a model where we rent more. And so last year we increased the number of rentals. That's why the Zach Williams, the Corey Asbury, the We Are Messengers,
those are all promoters
coming in, bringing shows, and which is, I think, good for San Angelo because it makes San Angelo a destination for these promoters. And we're actually uniquely positioned in West Texas because we're an easy route either north-south to McAllen, east-west from Midland to Lufkin through Dallas. So a lot of people see us as a good
Tuesday night stop.
Tuesday or Thursday night stop before the weekend when they go to the bigger cities.
All right, so you're very versed in the industry. What do you think? Do you think the Live Nation model, basically Live Nation is aggregating all these artists and putting these shows on all over this nation? And like, for example, I went to see Jeff Dunham, the ventriloquist, at Buddy Holly. All that was put on by, you know, a large company like Live Nation that basically rents all these facilities, I guess, or even manages them. So what do you think about is the industry going to continue to go that way, or is there going to be room for the independents like us?
I think there's room for the independents, but what it means is that we have access to smaller shows, and we have to kind of build our business model around smaller shows regionally in Texas, you know, celebrating Texas artists, or bringing in nationwide tours. We're great to stop, for example, ballet. We've picked up 3 different ballet companies, Grand Kiev Ballet, the Ballet Theater of Ukraine, and then World Series Ballet, which is a Russian company. So they've added us to their routes, and it's great for us.
So by being independent, it gives you a certain amount of flexibility.
A little bit. For places like Buddy Holly Hall, Wagner Noel, and Abilene Convention Center, those are all managed by ASM Global, which is a worldwide venue management company.
Right.
And they have specific deals with Live Nation, so they can bring in the bigger shows. What that means is that, you know, it's a little bit harder actually it's not that harder. It's a balance, right? So Buddy Holly Hall is managed by the Lubbock Entertainment Performing Arts Association.
Right.
And they're a association comprising of the symphony, I think, the school district, and some other organizations. So they schedule their performances in the Buddy Holly Hall, and then ASM Global rents to other promoters to bring in other shows to fill the calendar. Same thing happens at Wagner Noel. Wagner Noel is... And
that's in Midland.
And
right.
It's...
Well, actually, it's between Midland and Odessa.
Right, so Texas...
You know, when the first time I found out that there was that performance hall between Midland and Odessa, it was a news story. Some redneck got out of a Texas country concert and went and stole a front-end loader and started smashing cars in the parking lot, went racing down the highway right next to it. And, you know, every cop in Midland and Odessa was chasing it down.
Really?
Yeah. That's the first time I was like, they came out with the Wagner Noel. I was like, what the heck is that? No, oh, it's a performance hall.
So the Wagner Noel, I think, is run by the University of Texas Permian Basin.
Right.
Because they have the back of the building has classroom spaces.
Right.
But ASM Global is the venue manager, so they do all the rentals.
And they have all the tentacles into the performers.
Right.
Whether it's through Live Nation or whoever else that runs those stores.
And then it's the business model is a little bit different from a nonprofit performing arts center that like us, because like where we might go back to having seasons, like a Broadway season, and having memberships. Wagner Noel doesn't really have memberships or
you just buy your
fundraising.
concert when you want to go to a concert.
Right. If you follow Polestar, I think Polestar showed that Wagner Noel brought in $5 million in sales last year, which is incredible. They were ranked among international venues, which is really good for them. But for smaller venues like us, I think the challenge is.
And you're doing what, less than $1 million?
We get right around $1 million, I think, per year.
So you're about 1/5 of what Wagner Noel is.
Right.
And of course, Lubbock's probably more, or is it about the same?
I think about the same. They haven't been open as long as Wagner Noel. Wagner Noel's been open more than 10
more
years.
established.
Right. Buddy Holly Hall's been around. They opened in 2019, then COVID hit, and then so the first season.
No
was
wonder that
afterwards.
place looks so new. It hasn't been used.
Yeah, and we're going on now 9th season. So this is our 9th season, and 26 will be our 10th season as SAPAC, which is pretty good.
Well, all right. Well, we just had a in-depth discussion about the business of the performing arts.
We did.
You didn't know you were going to do that. You thought you were just going to get on here and say, well, we got these shows coming up, and Darren Morrison, who wrote Blame It on Blaine's.
I don't know if he's going to play it on Saturday.
He better play. We want Darren Morrison to play Blame It on Blaine's. Just comment in the thing below the thing on Facebook, and maybe we'll get Darren's attention. It's a great song. It's on his first record. He recorded a record way back then. I don't know how many records he's. Nowadays you can record a record in your, sitting on your couch.
Well, here's a little known fact. Did you know that Central High School Band has a kid who's got some rap singles on Spotify?
Oh, is that right? How many spins they got? Millions?
Yeah, I don't know. He performed at the band banquet last in May. And he was pretty good. Pretty good. Talent. We have a lot of talent in San Angelo. A lot. Right here, we got news talent.
Yes, I'm news talent, but don't yell at me if I write about you. Anyway. Yukio, it's always a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure, Joe.
And we'll go back to the studios. This has been Yukio from the SAPAC. That's sanangelopac.org to get your tickets. Go see what the schedule is. Support the local arts. Back to you guys.
When it comes to unique pieces you can't find anywhere else, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is your one-stop shop. With over 24 years in the diamond and coin industry, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is West Texas's choice for diamonds, jewelry, coins, silver, and gold. Owner Bill Kano stands by his work and offers free consultations, including estate jewelry. Don't just trust anyone with your valuables. Come see the staff at Kano's at 1016 West Beauregard in San Angelo.
Thanks for watching the Live Daily News Show, the only locally owned news show in the Concho Valley. Go like us on Facebook, X, and other social media platforms, and download the San Angelo Live mobile app to stay up to date with news from in and around the Concho Valley. Thanks again, and we'll